GM, everybody, happy Tuesday. It is officially migration season while the world of crypto falls apart, man. What a crazy time it is to be in crypto, but nonetheless, always a fun one. The Rizzmas migration has officially just kicked off as of now, and already 1% migrated within just a few minutes. So
Huge.
if that is a good sign, we're gonna have a very merry Christmas. Chris, how are we feeling today?
What is good? What's good? Good to see everyone. Migration season is in full swing, huh? And your inbound is up. I think projects are announcing um it's Rizzmas for the migration team Rizzmas, and then it's Rizzmas for the migration team Migrate Fund. So holiday season is here, boys. Let's get it.
That it absolutely is. It's a good time. Rizzmas, how are we feeling today, fellas? I invite you guys on the stage, so feel free to hop up whenever you guys are ready. Let's go, fellas.
Hey, sorry, man. I had to leave and join back. It wasn't really working. How we doing, man? We feeling rizzy?
Absolutely, man. It's exciting time. Market is in a little bit of a rough position, but the cool thing about migrations is it's really just focused on the community itself. It doesn't really matter what the price is. I know that impacts how people feel, but just getting people to move their tokens and such, a little bit agnostic to the market activity. You guys already have some people participating and migrating at a full 1% already with just a few minutes in.
Let's go.
Yeah. Adam is recording a tutorial video for you guys so that you can share it to the community. Obviously, the migration process is quite simple, but yeah, we got a lot of people on the live stream already. So we'll make sure to kind of do a little bit of an overview. We did hold the spaces with Rizzmas on Thursday. Guys, how has the community responded since that spaces? I know there was a little bit of some, I guess you would say, discontention in the community or confusion surrounding the migration. But now that it's been, a week since the announcement, and this is actually one of the reasons we'd say to give the communities about a week so that everyone can really ingest what's going on, prepare for the migration, and have their thoughts heard. How's the community feeling now about a week since?
Yeah, sorry about that. I keep getting dropped, but I think it's X doing a special thing.
Typical.
The community has been, honestly, since we've kind of pushed for a lot of education, we've kind of explained how it worked. This isn't just a team kind of coming together and being like, hey, send your supply here, and we'll take your supply and we'll sell it, and then we'll buy the new token. Like, we kind of explained that you guys are, obviously very solidified in the space. You've worked with a lot of major projects. We kind of went through Moo and a lot of the other past projects, because a lot of people just had some concerns with, the future of the chart. And with enough education, a lot of people knew, that we were kind of experienced in the space. So when we, have these conversations about market makers and supporting the chart and, heavy filtered spreads and making sure that, the price action remains, adequate, I think it made a lot of people feel better. And I've been pushing to everybody, man. Like, people say, like, what do we do? Should we buy the new token? Should we wait? Should we, and I'm like, that's why we posted a little bit of a picture today, kind of how charts work, how the emotion works. And it's like, never overextend, always, if you feel like this could go a certain way, then bet how you feel. And if that is, taking half your bag and migrating half your bag, then saving the rest, to either play the chart or buy the new token on your own, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Because at the end of the day, like, we always encourage people to take profits. Like, this is a team who cares about the community and wants to see the community win. And that means taking profits. That means clipping 10%, whenever you feel like the chart looks right. And honestly, I'm very happy to see, I guess, the reaction now versus, honestly, a lot of people, were talking about the dump that day when we announced it. And what a lot of people don't know is that was a bundle, that is completely exited now. And you know, a lot of people had the argument of, well, you could have just left the token alone. You know, if your idea of, you know, leaving the token alone, you know, without a team and then letting a bundle farm you for the rest of its entirety, if that's your idea of fun or Rizzmas joy or jolly joy or whatever, then so be it. But that's not my definition of fun. That's not a merry Rizzmas. And it's how do you get a bundle out? You know, you don't force them to sell. I mean, like, you don't, you know, it's impossible to just like, hey, sell your bag, please exit your bundle. You know, you're hurting the community. You know, no, I mean, you announce a migration. A bundle is not going to migrate 19 wallets. You know, they're going to clip out. And you know, what we have is a safer project now. When we launch this new token, guys, no bundle is able to get in before you. You're migrating your tokens, and I'm pretty sure, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but the second transaction after the deployment purchase is this everyone's supply. Am I right?
Yeah. So basically, how our protocol works is we've created essentially our own sniper where you buy out the bonding curve, and the next purchase after the bonding curve is the migrate fund protocol using the recovered soul to get to the target market cap. So let's say Rizzmas ends at a $2 million or $3 million market cap when the migration ends. Then we'll use 85 soul to buy out the bonding curve, and then another few hundred soul, I think, to get to like a $2 or $3 million market caps, like 500, 600, 700 soul. So you just go ahead and, you know, make that successive purchase, and then if you look at all of the past migrations to pump, you'll see that right after the migrate fund protocol is done purchasing, and that all happens in one transaction, you'll see a bunch of bots come in and buy, but they're buying at that market cap. So they'll be buying at 5 million, at 3 million, at 1 million, or whatever the kind of ending price is. And this actually accrues a lot of creator fees to the teams. When we see projects migrating and relaunching at a $1 million market cap or more, in the creator fees, you'll see there is waiting already like 10, 15, 20 soul, just because that large purchase is 1% fee or 1.25% fee. And then all of the bots that are kind of buying afterwards. And then you'll see all the bots sell because they realize that they didn't get to snipe in the bonding curve. They're buying at market value, which also attracts some trading fees as well and really gets the chart started. So if you launch above a $1 million market cap, you'll see 100,000, 50 to 100,000 K in trading fees, like almost pretty much immediately.
And I wanted to say and let everybody know too as well, I just checked, we're at 1.4% migration. So congratulations, guys. If you do not see your token, the MFT token, all you have to do is enable the filter in Phantom or SoulScan, just because it's a, you know, new token, I believe, with little metadata. I don't know what their parameters are, but sometimes they hide tokens. Just go in there and enable it if it isn't already enabled, and you are able to see your MFT token, your Rizzmas MFT token. Obviously, this is the placeholder until the new token is launched after the period ends. And yeah, I believe we have this video now too as well for anybody who's got some questions. With this video, I need to post up. So let me have them get this post together. Let me see. I'll download it, and then we'll get that post out there. That way you guys can see the process. It's very smooth. It's very easy. Let me see. I might have got dropped down again. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
So let me put this post together, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll post up top too. I know the MFT thing, although in the video I made a comment on how to find it as well. But I just posted it to the top of the space as well. Basically it's just hidden in your wallet. You know, these wallets all tend to hide tokens, especially new ones. So it's real easy to find. But there, if you do the transaction on migrate.fund, it's in your wallet. It may just be hidden. It's no big deal.
Yep. It's Phantom generally will hide valueless tokens that don't have a liquidity pool immediately. So it's generally auto hidden. We're still working with Phantom and SoulScan, all these people, to get it all properly labeled. A different endeavor beyond its own, which is a pain, but slowly but surely we make our way to get Migrate Fund. But it is pinned to the top. Literally all I have to do is just unhide it But regardless, if you check SoulScan, you'll see that it's there, right? And the ratio for Rizzmas, I think, is like almost 500 to 1. Yeah, 400. And wow, we're at 4% now. So congrats, guys. Really
Huge.
cruising pretty fast. So 4% has been migrated. The ratio is 496 to 1. So another benefit here is the standardization of the supply. A lot of the projects that have been announcing their migrations, there was 2 announcements today. I think there's going to be a third one as well. A lot of them are actually OG tokens that came before Pump Fund, or really before kind of the standardization around a 1 billion supply. So they want to get on to that. It also just integrates a lot better to a lot of these systems that auto default coin tracking to 1 billion supply and such. So 496 Rizzmas equals 1 MFT, and we're at 4% migrated. And if you want to track the amount of people who have migrated, you could just track the MFT holders, which is pretty simple. I'll go ahead and start tracking that, or show those numbers here pretty shortly. So we have 2 live migrations, 1 upcoming. I think by next week, we should have like 5 or 6 projects live, which will benefit Rizzmas and all of the tokens that are migrating. Before, when we first launched Migrate Fund, we actually did migration groups of projects, like 10 to 15 projects at a time. And that actually was quite beneficial to all of the projects, because we do say that migrations are a large attention event, right? Because it's token holders that have to actually take action of going to migrate.fund, clicking 2 buttons, and then, posting about it or whatever. But when some traders come to the site and they see other projects, and when they see that there's a heavy amount of tokens that have been migrated early, it gives them confidence that if this is a token that they want to trade, or this is a community that they want to buy and migrate and participate in long term, right? There's a lot of different trading strategies people do, or at least that we've seen. People will buy the token and sell before the migration. People will buy the token, migrate it through the migration, and then try to sell. And then some people just literally buy, migrate, and they just hold it, right? And they become a part of the community. So a lot of different strategies, but what's most important is getting a high turnout in the very beginning. That is like one of the best signals that you can have. And I like what you guys did with the website. I actually had it pulled up here on the live stream that we have, about 150 people who've tuned in so far. Really well done, I have to say. And then I shared with you guys yesterday the APIs if you want to live track, but ultimately you've got the countdown here. Very thorough kind of explanation about it all. And yeah, I don't think there's really anything else. You guys even have the final claim date, right? So for late claims, for people who missed the migration, if you're a Rizzmas holder, and let's say you miss the June 16th deadline, you actually can still migrate your token. The protocol takes a snapshot of all of the wallets that held Rizzmas when the migration ends, and you'll be assigned a 15% penalty, but you can still go ahead and migrate. And that's when you actually see a lot of the OG Rizzmas holders come in, is when they see that sell candle, down whatever it is, 50, 80, 90%, they'll all come back into the chat asking what happened. I know there was like somewhat of a sell-off event of that bundled kind of wallet, but when you're selling 50% of the supply, it goes down like 90%. Most people who are watching the charts, they're not watching like the news of a community. So just be prepared for that. But then it's a good refresh for all of the attention and opportunity that will be presented here in the near future.
Yeah, we had a bunch of guys yesterday talking about, well, should I hold on to my tokens? We're talking about Rizzmas. We're talking about the Mumu trade. And hey, maybe I should hold it if there's going to be a migration squeeze. Shouldn't I just hold my tokens and then, sell them when it goes 4x, 5x, whatever? And yeah, you can try that. Absolutely. And a lot of people do that. They'll migrate a portion of their tokens, save some, see if you get a pump, sell, buy on the other side. But remember, if you want to be part of the community, right, and part of the kind of ride up, if you want to sell, you might be buying back higher. And so there's lots of trading opportunities, and obviously there are whole groups of traders who simply trade around the migration, right? You never know how it's fully going to go. Some of them have been really surprising, had huge jumps. Some were kind of flat and then pumped after the migration. So you never really know, but obviously lots of trading opportunities here that are fun to, be a part of. And certainly for the communities, it's fun to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone has any questions, feel free to post in the replies of this Twitter Spaces. I don't really see any so far. If I remember correctly, there really weren't too many. But also feel free to ask on the live stream, or you can ask in the Rizzmas chat, which I'll pull up here to see if I see any questions kind of popping up here.
Or come on stage if you want to talk about it. Show your Rizzmas bags.
Show your Merry Rizzmas, right? So, I see a lot of people saying migration was super easy. It really is, guys. We tried to build it, as frictionlessly as possible. I do see people trading the token as well, which is pretty cool. We try to make it as simple, even for the teams, as simple as possible. It's just like a few clicks, and getting the standardization of the entire experience down pat. So feel free to come on stage. If not, we'll continue on with the conversation. Overall, somebody said, I see MFTs after migration, but the token doesn't show any dollar value. Is that normal? Yes, it is. The MFTs are placeholders. The reason why there's an MFT system is to prevent token holders from setting up rogue LPs. If you hold a token and there's no LP, you can go ahead and set up a LP, and then you basically are the person who determines what the market cap is. So if we just give out the new token freely, then somebody's going to go, no doubt, someone's going to go set up the market cap to like $1 or to like 10 trillion, right? And then it just completely ruins everything. Somebody, Haiti said, can someone send the official link to migrate? Yep, migrate.fun. Is the website. I'll post it in that chat as well. Pretty simple, just migrate.fun. Please be careful of scammers. So Haiti says, what is an MFT? MFT is what I just explained. MFT is a placeholder, migrate fund token. So when you migrate, you're given MFTs. These are SPL tokens, so they are on-chain tokens. You could transfer them around. When the migration for Rizzmas ends on June 16th, you'll come back to the Migrate Fund platform in the claim portal, and you'll turn in those MFTs for the new Rizzmas token when it launches on Pump Fund. The reason why we do MFTs is so that people don't set up rogue liquidity pools and determine the market cap before we are ready. So it's all part of the process. Just know MFT, Migrate Fund token, placeholder. Sometimes I consider us just renaming MFT as just placeholder. See if actually, if that like makes sense, or it's like, temporary token or something like that. Even though people, I think, will probably still have.
Well, I kind of like MFT, and the thing is, just one thing to know, guys, because we get this question like with whales and stuff, is you can transfer around the MFTs. People are saying, well, I have, whatever. If I have 5% or 1% of Rizzmas and I want to split it up, what should I do? Should I send my tokens to a bunch of wallets and then migrate them individually, or migrate it all in one bundle and then send the NFTs? And the reality is you can do it either way. You can migrate your tokens now, you'll get MFTs. And if you want to, pass those MFTs to different wallets, you can. Just know that on the other side, you're going to have to turn those MFTs in to exchange them or burn them for the brand new token. So just be aware. I mean, part of the good thing about MFTs is it's all on chain, rather than us just holding a bunch of addresses and airdropping and stuff like that. It's a far more on-chain protocol. So it's kind of, there are pluses and minuses to doing it every way, or different ways. And this is the way we've settled on to be kind of the most on-chain, trackable, and transparent. So that's what it is. But if you don't see them in the wallet, just check your wallet. They're there.
It looks like we've already had 20 people participate. 21 holders have migrated their tokens already. So congrats to everyone who has participated. 20 in 20 minutes, pretty good, right? For any community, really. The cool part about a migration is that, I guess, cool, depending on who you ask, you're identifying who the organic or just real users are, right? Because the user who's holding the token has to physically migrate them, or they have to go click some buttons. So you get rid of all the bots. And then I guess you purify. There's obviously kind of like a holder distribution component or technical challenge afterwards, which the Migrate Fund protocol is actually working on. So if you follow us, we will have some cool things coming to the platform over the next few months, which you may want to pay attention to in terms of solving some of these problems.
I just posted the video up top. Just be aware. Definitely, as Jake said, tons of scammers out there. You see the Migrate Fund account up on stage here, and you can see Jake, myself, Chris all have the emblem badge, as well as the Migrate Fund account has that badge. Just heads up, you are going to see fake Migrate Fund accounts or fake employees of Migrate Fund who do not have that badge. So just be careful out there, guys. No, don't get scammed.
Be very careful. Also, make sure you give the Migrate Fund account a follow so that everyone.
We may have surprises coming up.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Definitely. Everybody, if you're in here for the Rizzmas community, definitely give Jake, Adam, Chris, Migrate.fun a follow. Definitely Emblem too. Every single one of the people with a badge on stage here, man. They've been amazing in this process. I'll tell you how easy it's been just because of a good team. It's easy like that in crypto, and especially easy with migrations. It's a tough process, and it's definitely intricate when you're trying to be as safe as possible. So when you got guys like this, man, who make it easy, and they're not grifters, they're not here to, they're not getting paid in any supply. This isn't some sort of back end deal. And so shout out to them, man. Everybody drop them a follow. I just had to come in and say it, man.
Appreciate that. Yeah, really appreciate that. Again, Emblem Vault, our parent company, we're going to be releasing a vibe coding platform for crypto communities. You could go vibe code apps and stuff. So you'll want to follow that account if you are a dev or not a dev. So you could be pretty cool with that. And then Migrate Fund, obviously save yourself from getting scammed, and then just pay attention to a lot of updates. If you participate in a migration, then you may be receiving something here in the near future. So maybe I'll just put it that way.
Possibly.
Oh, wait. I wanted to say too as well, I literally forgot to say this. We have not announced it. I wanted to announce it today on Spaces, but for everybody who participates in the first 48 hours of the migration, we will be giving something a little bit away once the new token launches. So after that date, it's not going to be anything crazy. Obviously, we don't really know how much supply and SOL is going to be coming on the back end. We can estimate it. We can use averages, but we will be giving back to the people who participate in the migration in the first 48 hours. So I forgot to mention that. We're going to get a post obviously made so that that stuff is made aware for people who are not listening right now. But everybody who is listening right now, if you did migrate, congratulations, you won. And if you haven't yet, be sure to do it in the first 48 hours to be eligible.
I mean, I'm just looking, by the way, I'm just looking in the comments here on Twitter, and there's already scammers in there. So just, head on a swivel, guys. I can't say it enough, but it's crazy, man.
Yeah, Haiti says, is this the real website? Yeah, migrate.fun. So you see it says migrate.fun/migrate/MIG180. So that is the official website, migrate.fun. So make sure that is there. I have here pulled up on the live stream the migration portal. So if it looks like this, then you're good to go. That is the official migration portal. 4.4% people are coming out and migrating their tokens. Community is here. So yeah, appreciate everyone for doing that, especially in the first 30 minutes. It's really, really, it's really, really important. Heathco says 2 billion old token is about 4 million NFTs. Just checking. Yes, that should be. The ratio is 496 to 1. Right, because you're going from 496 billion down to 1 billion. So that is the ratio. So it looks about right at face value.
Just know that whatever your percent, whatever you own 1% of Rizzmas pre-migration, you're going to own 1% on the other side. That's the important thing to know.
Mm-hmm. Somebody says Here, I'll just kind of, yeah. So he says, do we simply buy from the migration link? No, you don't buy from the migration link. You buy the tokens probably on Jupiter, would be safest. And then you go to the migration link, or you go to the migration website and link it there. This could even simply be, I'm not calling Garth a scammer, but this could entirely be somebody trying to trick people.
He's trying to get on stage too. I don't know if we should let him up. Should we let him up?
Yeah, let him up. Somebody, Gerard says, when is full complete? How long is migration? Migration's 2 weeks. So it goes from today till June 16th. You can actually migrate after the 16th, but you will have a 15% allocation reduction. And that is so that we can get as much liquidity across the line initially. So please make sure that you do it if you want your 1-to-1 ratio. Just do it now. Save yourself some time, and we'll get after it. Garth, are you there?
Yo,
What's up,
That's
man?
good.
chilling. So yeah, no, I was just trying to figure out directly with that question on how to do it. This would be my first migration of any token.
Sure.
So I guess I was going to buy it directly from that link, and it was showing that I couldn't do that. And then I was trying to swap Rizzmas for that mint address as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there's a look at the pinned post up at the top. Rizzmas just put out a tutorial video. So if you just go ahead and watch a tutorial video, it's pretty straightforward. If you have the Rizzmas token in your wallet, you just go to the migrate fund link, and then you go to the Rizzmas portal, and it'll auto detect the amount of Rizzmas tokens you have in your wallet. And then you just basically hit max, and then migrate. It'll then give you something that's called an MFT, a migrate fund token. Those are placeholder tokens, which you'll hold until the migration ends. Once the migration is over on June 16th, you'll come back to the website to turn in those tokens for the new Rizzmas token once it has relaunched on Pump Fund.
Gotcha. So basically, this is just a whole attach your wallet to it and go from there situation.
Correct.
That's what I was.
Yeah. You have to connect your wallet because the system, Migrate Fund's an on-chain protocol, and it is non-custodial. So there's no way for us to basically do migrations in a centralized manner because all of the tokens are held by the users. So it is fully on-chain.
Independent.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Thank you for the clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and if you had any questions too about it, you can go to our specific website, so rizzmas.lol/migration, and you can view their audit too. If you have any sort of like concerns in terms of the safety of it or the legitimacy, we provided all of the links to their direct documents as well as the direct audit. So just to make sure that there are some people that don't like to connect their wallet, and to be fair, that's a big scam. But obviously, we're a verifiable team. They're a verifiable business. So, you don't have to worry about any of those things. But if you do want to do your own research, they make it easy on their website, and we've, decided to make it easy as well. So just wanted to put that out there.
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for letting me in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we looked into all different methods for the migration. Ultimately, it's because Migrate funds such a comprehensive backend infrastructure. There's no real way to do kind of like send your tokens in, get these back, and like this atomic swap, because there's so many vaults that are associated with a migration and a smart contract. So the system needs to be, because the system's on chain, it needs to be able to connect to your wallet and do the automated smart contract functionality. But it is quick, right? You could disconnect it right afterwards if you'd like. And the process, again, is really like 10 seconds. It's pinned up to the top.
Yeah, I just watched the tutorial. I just want to say that it's really 2 clicks away from doing the process. Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, that's got it down to the least amount of clicks possible. It took a few steps to get there, but that was definitely the goal. Definitely the goal. So I'm glad to hear that is resonating well. Hades says, so I'm safe to connect my wallet to the real site. Yes, connect. Might click migrate, and then you can disconnect after, and you are good to go. The Rizzmas team says that they're going to give some rewards to everyone who migrates in the first 48 hours. So make sure that you get through. Again, it's all tracked on chain, so it's easy for them to just pull the information directly from the blockchain itself. Just look at the MFT holders.
If you guys have any issues or problems, you can just DM the Migrate Fund Twitter account directly, and we'll walk you through it. We're happy to walk you through it. But I don't think you will. But if you do, there's always edge cases with hardware wallets or something like that. You can always DM the Migrate Fund account, and we'll walk you through it.
Yeah,
I just want to throw it out there. I guess my main issue from the beginning of what I was doing was I was trying to do it from mobile, and I guess it wasn't giving me the option to fully connect. It kept like glitching out on that.
What you need to do, like if you're on mobile, like if you're on, are you on Phantom?
Like Android, but yeah, no, not Phantom.
No, what wallet are you using on mobile?
The Jupiter.
Oh, you're using Jupe Wallet? Okay, yeah. You have to do it from the within the app. You have to do it from the the browser within the app. I'll pin a post up top with like a Phantom wallet, show you how to do it on Phantom. But you can't be on like on Safari or whatever, your Chrome browser on mobile. You have to be in the mobile browser within the wallet, if that makes sense. But anyway, I'll pin one up top just so you can see how it works.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, it is actually like a common education thing. So for this is just kind of like for what it's worth. Crypto on mobile apps, they do not work within the native browser app. So if you're on your iPhone or Android and you're trying to do crypto transactions inside of Safari or Brave or Chrome or Firefox, the majority of the time the transactions will not go through. Signatures have a really hard time committing on-chain through a browser because it has to also direct to the wallet. So within all of the wallet apps itself, so if you go download Phantom app or Soulflare or Jupiter, right, or Binance Web3 wallet or whatever, inside of those wallet apps, there's actually a browser. So generally within like Phantom or Jupiter, it'll say something like explore or browse. And if you click on that, there's actually a URL in there, or like a URL link where you can actually just type in migrate.fund. You could type in Jupiter, you could type in literally any crypto app, and it'll take you directly there. And because it's in the Phantom app or MetaMask or whatever, the transactions will go through. So just kind of words of advice for people who are on mobile. That is probably the most common issue that we get.
It's pinned up top now, Garth. You can check it out.
Cool.
Kind of cool to see people integrating the stats and everything in their own websites, obviously probably with some help of AI. But think of like how much content you can push out with AI, and just, you know, the next era of meme coins and community building is pretty nice to see. And then secondly, we really tried to create a standardized migration when we created the first migration through Hustle. And so that's like 2 weeks, which at the time we were pretty unsure of. We were unsure of if 2 weeks was enough time to like rally the community and everything like that. But it turned out to be pretty solid. And it's nice to see people using like those standardized metrics that we set almost a year ago now.
Yeah, we were debating doing 100-day migration. Historically, before we started Migrate Fund, migrations lasted sometimes 6 months. We did a migration for Koval for 1 year. We had it open for literally one entire year, and people still missed the migration. So that's kind of like what our thought process was if you do this shortened, condensed migration of the first initial period of 2 weeks, but then after that sell, you know, you have a penalty that encourages people to migrate their tokens. Most people are now just terminally online. So the internet, I think, is also just a little bit different than when the first migrations were taking place 15 years ago in the crypto industry. So realistically, though, users actually have about 100 days. You have 2 weeks within the initial period, and then there's 90 days in the claim period. So overall, it actually still comes out to about 100 days. But the one thing we know is that the projects do not want to wait 100 days to launch their token, right? You need to get as much supply through the door in the beginning that allows them to be sufficient to relaunch. And then the late stragglers could come in afterwards. And so that's kind of the mechanism that we built in place. As Rizzmas is now at 5% migrated. So congrats, moving through. Saw it almost up to 30 people coming through the door here. Again, most people migrate in the first 48 hours and then also in the last 48 hours. In the last 48 hours, typically we see something called like the migration squeeze. And this is why we say to get as much supply through the door in the beginning. The migration squeeze happens when token communities have the majority of their supply locked up, and there's like some large interest or hype around the project. Let's say, for example, you have 60% of the supply migrated with 2 days to go. You'll see a lot of traders come in, or speculators, or even late buyers, right? They'll come in and start buying the token, and there's literally no sell pressure because pretty much everybody is migrated. So you have a low float, and then you have a lot of buyers, and sometimes you'll see these like very volatile candles go upwards. For example, Nichi did a 10x their last 48 hours. They went from 700K to 7 million. The unicorn migration that just took place, when they first announced their migration, they were at 700K. I think they ended at like 2.5 mil. Bobo as well, even with a thick liquidity pool of $1 million, went from 4 million to 8 million at the time at the end of their migration. So these type of things are pretty common, but the most frequent denominator of all of that is high participation. So this is why we say to try to get as many people through the door as possible, get the community posted, get the people excited, and get people buying so that you can get that migration squeeze, right? The higher the price goes at the very end, this means that you'll have a higher relaunch price, which means that everyone who migrated is then in profit some degree, right? If you start the migration at 500K and you get a migration squeeze to 1.5 mil, that means you're relaunching at 1.5 million. So everyone who migrated before that is now in profit, right? Obviously, then the market kind of will do what it does, whether it goes up or down. But that's the best way. If you're a migrator, it's to just post and get everyone else to participate, because the higher the participation, the higher the migration squeeze, which means the higher the relaunch price, which means that everyone kind of wins. So that's the really cool communal aspect to this, is getting all of that done. And, just again, be careful about scams that are out there. And also for a lot of people, as we were talking with earlier, it's a new process for most. Although we have completed 75 migrations, we've talked with hundreds of teams. For a lot of people, this is their first time going through this. So just be very patient. Especially a lot of some users can be just very new to crypto in general. And every token community is kind of a little bit different. Some people don't even know that you need to have Sol in your wallet for gas fees, which, is okay. It's, for some people who've been in crypto, you're like kind of laugh because you think that's like the most common, thought. But for some people, they actually don't know that. So yeah, the best is just be really patient with people, especially in a situation like Rizzmas, where you have a very large community. I know there's been like airdrops and stuff like that, but some of these people probably have not touched their token, or probably don't even realize they have Rizzmas. So once that sell happens, there's going to be a portion of those people who do come back into the community saying, hey, I haven't touched my Rizzmas in years. What happened? And that's where you just got to be kind of very delicate with those users. Zahid says how to migrate. If you go to the Rizzmas website, I'll even pull it up here for you, or the Rizzmas. You go to the Rizzmas website itself, and they will give you instructions, which is just rizzmas.lol. Or if you go to the Rizzmas Twitter account, there is a tutorial video that's on there. I'm sure the guys are going to put it on their website as well. But if you go to the Rizzmas X account, you'll see right here. I think Swipe also posted one, it looks like. Rizzmas just posted it here. You could go ahead. I'll repost it too, so you could just go to my account as well. This is the tutorial video. Again, pretty simple. It takes about 10 seconds to do, but it is guided there and easy to follow. So just go ahead. Rizzmas.lol has it, and also the Rizzmas X account. Dope. I think I'm looking in the chat. I don't really see too much else, but there are people now showing up and migrating as word gets out. Over 30 people migrated now, 5%. So again, they are starting to roll in. You can see for those that are just kind of the on-chain sleuths who just like to monitor things. If you go to the Migrate Fund details page here, you'll see the Rizzmas MFT. If you just take that address and plug it into SoulScan, you can actually track in real time. You can see here 4.9% migrated, right? Because this is out of 1 billion because you're going to pump 31 holders. So you can go ahead and just monitor that if that's something that you like to do. Again, you can split up your MFTs, and MFTs are on-chain SPL tokens, so you can split them up if that is how you like to do. Some people like to obfuscate their holdings, right? So if you have MFTs and you go split it up into different wallets, right, gives you a little bit more privacy around, who's the controlling stuff. I'm not saying that's like a malicious thing, just people want privacy. So that is something that you can do, and actually a lot of people do that as well. So just a little bit of the strategy there. And yeah, here we are. We're grinding. We're moving. Rizzmas at 5%. The Mumu team who you're migrating with is at 16%. And there's 2 teams that announced migrations today. I think there's another one that's going to announce today, and a few that are going to be starting next week. So there will be a good amount of company to share all of this attention with. Yep. Swipe says go on migrate.fun. There's a tutorial video, and yeah, we'll get it there. Again, you can always reach out to migrate.fun for any questions, as well as the Rizzmas team, who is quite active.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these next 2 weeks, I fully expected to be like an answering questions warrior, just waiting, for people to ask questions. I know that even just these last couple of days, I kind of wrote down a little script in my brain because it seems like there are relatively the same questions that do come up, and it's as expected. So I'm ready for the same sort of thing, man. People to wake up out of the blue, like, yo, what is happening? Run them through the whole process and let them come home, baby. We're just moving to a different restaurant, same restaurant, different location. So let's go.
It's business relocations 101. That's what we do. We help people move around into the ecosystems that they want to be. Very independent. We do work with all of the AMMs. So we work with PumpSwap directly, and Radium and Meteora and some of the other launch pads. We work with all the exchanges for relistings. It's quite a large, undertaking for a lot of this stuff, but we're working to get it as simplified as possible. Just the idea of creator optionality, being able to move. Crypto is a very fast-paced industry. Things are always changing, right? Price is always going up or down a lot if you're in a bear market. And sometimes decisions need to be made to move to an upgraded ecosystem or something that represents your community as time evolved. Like, Rizzmas has been out for a while. The community's probably had a lot that's changed, but there's also been the core community members, and those are generally the ones who are making the decisions. So that's kind of our goal and initiative here, allowing people to go to whatever ecosystem, or even now cross-chain. We had Bobo migrate from Ethereum to Solana. We've had other teams ask about migrating to BNB, migrating to Telegram network, migrating to Hyperliquid, Base. So we've kind of had all that stuff. Generally, we launch with like partners for the different types of products. That's how we like to roll. But right, the most common by far is migrating to Pump Fund for creator rewards. Generally, like the most common theme. I would say the second is the attention event, right? So you're reactivating your community after a lot of downtime. Users have to literally go into their wallets, go to the Migrate Fund site, connect, right? Click the Migrate button. But then also after migration ends and the sell period happens, people then come back to the community asking, what happened? How did they get better? And kind of all these different things. And so the attention event, some teams use the opportunity to rebrand. So they'll change the ticker, they'll change the image, update the social links. The new chart and new CA is something that oftentimes is oftentimes things are looking for. And then kind of community and social support, right? Pump is got a lot of attention. Before, when we first launched, Bonk Fun had all the attention. So a lot of the first projects we migrated were to Bonk Fun. Now everyone wants to go to Pump, right? Their ecosystem is pretty well. They provide community support, but also just being around other meme coins. If you're a meme coin, is what we're seeing in a recent trend people want to do. But at the end of the day, we're all humans, and attention tends to move around quite drastically. And so we're here to support, anything and everyone all day, 24/7. So happy to support the Rizzmas community. Now over 5 million at 5.2% of the supply migrated. So appreciate everyone, who's following, and, all the community members of each team. It works. You guys have been, really well, doing really well. And we're excited to help out. If there's any other questions, please feel free to ask. If not, then we'll begin wrapping this up and winding it down here pretty soon. But you can always share this chat with anybody who missed the chat. They couldn't make it. There was also a Spaces on Thursday where we went very deep into a lot of the specifics as well of the migration and community. And so I think we got one other person. Sounds like it's coming on stage. Is that you, Garth?
Yeah. So one more question. I'm making progress in this whole situation and realizing I can't be on my mobile, right? Or on the .com at least. So I'm getting through it on my phone right now. So do I need to have the Solana to buy the MFT, or do I need to already have Riz token?
Wait, do you own Rizzmas?
I do. I just rebought some because I did like the whole sell-off thing or whatever because I knew it was going to drop more. So I bought some, but then I got confused about this situation, and then I sold it into Solana thinking I needed the Solana instead of the token. So now, what do I do?
There's nothing if you don't have the token, you don't have anything to migrate, right? So you got to have the token first. Yeah. So yeah, you need.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, buy the token on Jupiter. You're actually probably buying now. You're actually probably going to have more Rizzmas since the market's gone down. So you may have made a little bit of a profit there. Yeah, so go buy it on Jupiter. That's the safest place. And then once it's in your wallet, go to migrate.fund, the migration portal. And once you connect, it'll automatically read your balance. And so then you'll just hit max and migrate, and then you're basically done. And then come back in 2 weeks, and you'll do pretty much the same exact process for the new token when it relaunches.
Gotcha. Thanks for the clarity.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to help anytime. Rizzmas team, will pass it off to you. Any final comments for the community? Got a few more people through the door. So now getting closer to 40 people migrating and almost 6%. So the word is getting out. It looks like you guys have been very helpful, but I'll give you guys the stage for any final comments to the community or anything of that nature.
Thank you so much, man. And I really I wanted to extend this thank you to you guys, and I want to extend this thank you to the community, man. I really appreciate everybody showing out today. It's a very delicate situation, especially when you're dealing with a token, us being 2 years and 5 months old. But we've been through a lot. A lot of the guys, who are still here, they've been here for 2 years. And we had a similar situation when we ran up to 96 million. And the next day we're sitting around 5 million. And I remember being in a VC with 200, 300, 400 people. And I remember, we banded up together as, one community with one goal. And, we kind of showed everybody what it meant to be a CTO. And what did we do? We ran it back up to 60 M's. And I just want to let everybody know, this is the same team, the same drive, the same passion. We have the same goal in mind. And I'm ready to rally this community up to get fired up on Pump Fund to bring this token where it belongs to be. And I truly, truly believe that this token belongs to be one of the top tokens. So many people, when we were thinking about what to do with Rizzmas, said this feels like Doge. This feels like Shiba. This feels like its own chain. Like you have people like it was insane, what people were building for no reason. Like the app, like the Telegram bot, like the things, we don't even really market. And it's mind blowing, and I'm very excited for the future. So I want to just, say thank you to everybody for making this process very smooth, very easy. I know, we still have 2 weeks left, baby. So we got a lot coming in, a lot of motion coming through. And guys, there are big, big launch plans for after this. I don't want to specify too much. Obviously, we will, leak the news and the alpha as time goes on. But we are going to be taking this very seriously, and know that everybody's bags is in our hands. So obviously, we're going to structure this how a developer token would structure it, obviously, and that means putting up capital for the right moves to support the chart. And so, expect a very, very good launch day. Expect a very, very good launch month. Obviously, I can't promise anything, but we will be doing our best with the capital that we do have, being transparent to buy back the chart and to really, really push this baby where it belongs to be.
Boom. Couldn't have said it any better.
Before you opened, if I might add, can you guys compare yourself, I guess, in a fundamental way, where you plan this to go, if it goes in that direction, everything is successful? What meme coin would you like to, I guess, compare this to once it gets there, knowing the meme coin you're comparing it to is already where you want to be, if you will?
Well, it's an interesting question. In terms of market cap, I see us really being, one of the big players on Solana, 500 million plus. And that might sound crazy, but we've had an all-time high of 100 million. And I think that we're very different. We're a seasonal token. So we bring, a lot of difference to the space. And there has been some seasonal tokens before. Spooky Shiba. A lot of these guys are not in crypto then. That was like 2022. And I'll just tell you, man, like, it didn't work out. And I will tell you why we're going to work out is because we are not on our own chain. There's attention in Solana. We know the right moves to bring the attention back to the token. This is one of them. And I believe with the right mindset, the right community, the right capital, we can present ourselves as one of the big players, attract a lot of whales, and bring ourselves up to that point. And honestly, in my opinion, be the first CTO to be forever lasting. I always would say Rizzmas is eternal, and it's like it just we're one of the big guys, man. Everybody knows our name, so
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
Let's go.
Game on. Congrats to Rizzmas community for showing up. 5.5% is a pretty good start, especially within the first hour. Any questions, please reach out to the Migrate Fund X account, just DM, and we're happy to help no matter what the question may be. You have 2 weeks to migrate, and then there will be a new Rizzmas officially on Pump Fund. Until then, everyone have a fun and safe Tuesday, and we'll see you guys soon.
There you guys.